So some of the Epstein files came out, and let's just say I'm nonplussed with what we see. Mike Cernovich had some great posts about this, but the real story was back in 2019 when the FBI decided not to charge Epstein under the Mann Act and instead purposely decided to charge him basically with the least available crimes, as far as significance. So they charged him with getting massages from underage girls in like 2003, 2004, around that time. This predictably meant that they wouldn't charge him for the trafficking of underage children, which meant there was no one to connect to. So all of the underage girls that were trafficked to powerful people in this country and others, all of a sudden those powerful people weren't under the microscope. And then Epstein conveniently died. Remember, the FBI begrudgingly charged Epstein in the first place. They knew about his crimes since the early 2000s, let him go, and only when it was newspaper people and Mike Cernovich actually pressed the issue in court and files were about to be unsealed, that magically the FBI charged him, and then many of those files ended up disappearing, as you could see from articles at the time. The biggest allegations about Epstein was that he was working with U.S. intel agencies to get blackmail material on people, like powerful people like sitting members of Congress, powerful corporate influencers, etc. All of those files are disappeared, and instead what we see today, it's important because normies need to be able to see and to get definitive proof like, look at this. There are people like Alan Dershowitz and Pritzker that are on this list. All of that's important, but most of this was known anyways. The most important things are buried. They'll only show you the bare minimum to gaslight you into thinking, things are actually being solved. Mark my words, the vast majority of powerful people in our government and governments around the world that were engaged in this sex trafficking of underage children are going to get off scot-free. They're still going to be running the show. And this issue is an issue that everyone could understand that exhibits the corruption of organizations like our FBI that allowed this to be buried, of organizations like our mainstream media that allowed this to be buried. So look, while it's always a good thing when there's more transparency, remember, you're only seeing what they want you to see. The most damning stuff is never going to be made public, and that's because the investigators, the FBI, are controlled by the very people that would be implicated, and they don't want you to see that.